Welcome to Ghost Education 101, where curiosity meets experience and the doors to the entire paranormal landscape are finally open. Hosted by Dr. Heather Leigh and Dr. Tiffany Frazier, this series is built for everyone who wants to understand the unexplained the right way. Whether you're just stepping into the unknown or you've been investigating for years, this is the place where you can sharpen your approach, deepen your understanding, and cut through the misconceptions that have overrun this field for far too long. Each episode walks you through the full spectrum of paranormal activity. Classic hauntings, intelligent spirits, cryptids, elemental beings, poltergeist phenomena, and the modern challenges investigators face today. We break it all down. The science, the method, and the mystery, without dumbing it down and without drifting into theatrics. Grounded in research, history, and real-world investigation, Ghost Education 101 is your classroom, your laboratory, and your gateway into the most compelling unexplained experiences on record. Learn, question, discover. Welcome to Ghost Education 101. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Heather Leigh and Dr. Tiffany Frazier.
Good evening, everybody.
Yep. Hey, Tiffany, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for being there for me the last couple of weeks. And I do want to thank everybody who has reached out to me. It's been tough. For those of you who don't know, my mom did pass away on July 1st, and I'm going to try to get through this show the best I can. I have moments, even when I'm at work, where I just want to step away and dry those tears. But I do appreciate everybody over the last couple of weeks, and Tiffany for keeping us fed.
I felt so, I've been through it, and
Yep.
When you're so far away from somebody who needs support, it's so hard. So I was very happy to do that for you. It was literally the least I could do. There was nothing else I could do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
Yep. So, and then for those of you who didn't know, I did just make that post yesterday. I know we are so far behind on our Facebook comments and messages. Trust me, we are not ignoring you. We will get caught up. And I do, in the next couple of days, I will be getting through everybody and personally responding to everybody's messages and comments. So other than that, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Are you ready to bring on our guest, Tiffany?
I am. Let's do it.
Hey, Ron, welcome to the show.
Hello. How are y'all doing?
Good. So glad to have you back on the show and be able to catch up with you. It has been a long time.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's been a couple of years. I'm here in South Carolina, ready to rock for you.
That sounds great. I know we've always texted back and forth every once in a while. I think it's like every couple of months, one of us will pop up and say hi.
Yeah.
So we've always stayed in contact. But what have you been doing the last couple of years, paranormal wise?
Well, I ended up going to the Conjuring House, and that was a once in a lifetime experience. And I've been doing a few commercial properties. I have to remain anonymous towards, just to be protecting the owners there. One of them is actually very high celebrity, so I've got to keep everything very koshered for them.
We'll just let our minds wander and try to guess who it is.
Yes, ma'am. But so there was a clerk of court's office over here in South Carolina that I had to take care of, 5 stories tall. They had lawyer offices that were abruptly, rudely dismantled by the paranormal. And I've had to work a couple of residential cases. The residential cases, there was one poltergeist situation that is something I'm never going to forget there. What have you been up to?
Oh, me? Geez. Moved to Texas, of course. I started, of course, I'm working in telecommunications, so I'm not really doing the paranormal full time. I'm on my 8th and 9th book. And then I just finished writing a fiction book with Blake Best, which is coming out next year. So that is, yeah. So it's, you know me, I never sit still. And of course, I added a new co-host to Ghosted.
Right. Yeah. Right. I see. So this is Miss Dr. Tiffany Frazier.
Yes, sir. That is correct. I met Heather 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Maybe no, prior to that, because it was before I joined my current paranormal investigations team. So it was, I'd say maybe 4 years. I met no. I have my years all mixed up. It's like 3 years. Anyways, I met Heather.
It was just after I moved back to Florida, I think.
Yes. I met Heather through my current paranormal investigations team, and we connected right away. And I did a few interviews on her podcast, and we just click.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
And a couple or like a year or so went by, and I asked her, I was like, hey, you've got a degree in this field. And it was something that I had always wanted to do, but I just didn't know how to go about it. I'm a child of the early 80s and 90s, and it was really difficult to find resources in my household to figure that all out. And so when she told me how she went about it, I was like, this is something that I have to do. And I was already part of the paranormal investigations team anyway. And I was like, I just want to jump in fully, and this is what I always wanted to do. And, the universe has an amazing way of laying the path in front of you, the one that you're supposed to be on, because up until a couple years ago, I was like, why wasn't I able to do it 20, 25 years ago? Well, this is why, because I learned so much. I learned the proper ways. I learned what to look for. I learned the questions to ask. And then it led me down this road of meeting people and down this path of education. And it was all just meant to be the way it
That's
transpired.
Good.
And
that's real good.
So now here I am. And she came to me. She's like, I need a co-host. And I was like, girl, you don't have to ask me twice.
Well, resources have changed. We are a wide-span community now.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like
I blink and all of a sudden we're all here.
I think back to, I tell my daughter, I used to have to sneak and watch sightings on where I'm from. They showed it on PBS a lot, and I had to sneak in the living room and watch it. I couldn't let anybody know what I was into. And
that's cool. That's cool.
I wasn't into it because I wanted to go and ghost hunt and everything. I was into it because I felt like there was something really there and I wanted to learn about it. And then I had some experiences later on, which always stuck with me. And so I always knew I was going to somehow end up in this field. And
I call those the brown pants moments.
Yeah, it really was.
That's how you're bonding with all of us. You're talking about your brown pants moments.
Yep, exactly.
I like that. I'm going to start using that if that's okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I always find it amazing because, it's one of those things where even though my parents were hesitant on believing some of the stuff that I had and that I was experiencing, my dad was always like, okay, you see what you see, keep your stories to yourself. Until recently, he's more opened up about it. But even growing up, my mom would be like, talk to me about it. Tell me what you saw. Tell me. And then, as I got older, she was like, oh, we weren't sure what you were going through. But she's like, I went through the same thing. She was seeing what I was seeing. She was hearing what I was hearing. And it wasn't until later in life that she had started admitting all of that. So it was kind of like, I think growing up having the support that, you don't feel like you're crazy, you're not having to hide it is, it's amazing how everybody has different experiences growing up with what other people think.
It's very true. That's how I was raised, was dealing with the paranormal. My grandmother's house was very haunted. And it grew just like everything else does. The energy source just kept stomping on it and getting bigger and bigger. And I would say probably by 8 years old, I found out by getting narked on. These things were telling my grandmother every single thing I was doing around the house. When I was far away from her, she knew everything. It's like there was cameras just stuck in my face. And there weren't even security cameras back then. No. I was like, what? She was telling me things I was doing. There ain't no way nobody could even know, And I remember, all right, I was headed back towards a bedroom that my father grew up in. And I was seeing this picture of him with a military uniform on, and it was sitting on his dresser. And I walked in and I was looking at that. I picked it up and I was like, oh, he looks pretty good in a uniform. I might look pretty good in a uniform too. So I set the picture down and I go in the back where she's at. She's like, what was you doing? I said, nothing. I wasn't doing nothing. She said, you was meddling. I said, no, I wasn't. She said, they're telling me right now. They're telling me that you was meddling. And it was like that all the time. I couldn't get away with nothing up in there. Nothing. I couldn't steal a peach from her tree without her finding out about it. And so, that's how I was raised up. And by 13, 14 years old, we ended up getting a call from her neighbor. She was screaming at the top of her lungs. And she was very angry. This was early morning. I lived 8 doors down from her. So the neighbors were calling. They were like, you need to get down here right now. There's something going very wrong right now. So I bum rushed down there, and I'm looking at her swinging a baseball bat at her crawl space with a spotlight shining in, talking about, come on, I got you, come on. She was swinging the baseball bat ready to bam on something, like she just expected that any second something was just jumping out at her. And I was like, what's going on right now? What's going wrong here? That the neighbors are freaking out right now, right? She was like, look, I just got attacked in my bathroom, and you need to leave right now. And she was so disturbed over this. She was so hyped up. This was like a 75-year-old woman. She literally tried to push on me to get me off the property at that point in time because she was ready to bam. She was hyped up. And I was like, look, I'm going to help you out. Okay. I'm going to go into this crawl space. And if I end up having anything to do with finding somebody, I'm going to have to take them on. But if they jump out, you go ahead and you swing away. All right. And she's like, okay. I said, anything besides me. She said, all right, I got you. So I went in there, and my grandfather was a very smart man. He built this house with his bare hands. And the crawl space was about hip high, easily crawlable, very easily crawlable. And there was a spotlight about every 10 foot around the rim of the girder system for the flooring. And you can see everything you needed to be able to get into that crawl space. I went about 2.5 rooms in, and I'm looking around in that bathroom area to see whether there was something that was underneath there. I didn't see anything. And once I had turned the corner and I was up around these areas, I heard this guttural growl scream right at my ear, said, get out. And I was baffled. I was looking around the whole time like there's nothing here, but that just happened. And that's a brown pants moment for a 14-year-old little dude. Yeah. That was a big moment for me. And I just went ahead and came out after making sure that nothing else was around, and got her to come back in. I said I didn't see anything, and I just left it right at that. I did not see anything. Grandma, it's time to go inside. It's 3 a.m. Yeah. We're freaking out your neighbors. We need to go. So we go ahead and we get inside. She puts the baseball bat down. I'm walking into the middle corridor. There's a little hallway there in the center, going back towards the front door to get out. And I'm sitting back saying I did not see anything. So all of a sudden, every radio that was in the house turned on at the same time. And now my grandmother was a very Christian woman. She had every one of them preset on a Christian station, and it was blaring. And she all of a sudden looked at me when that happened, and she was like, "Don't worry about it. Just going home. I got this." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I got this. Don't worry about it." So we both had that experience together, and family didn't believe us at all, but me and her knew. So we would
Hmm.
watch each other's backs up in there, and we always wanted to make sure that we could be there for each other as much as we could.
Yeah.
Later on, it got a little bit tougher to do. You're getting older and going to school, and then all of a sudden you're in the workforce and all that. And later on, she was thrown quite a bit, and until her dying days, all of a sudden she got to the
Um,
point where it was too much for her. She started having um, talks with our neighbors that had passed away.
mhm.
So I was 8 doors down, and 9 doors down from my grandmother, right beside me, was a guy that was about 4 years older than me in high school. He had passed away in a car accident named Steve, and right beside her house, next to the railroad tracks, there was a guy named Andy. Well, he shot himself in the head and on his porch in front of his family. And she started talking to him, and they had very vivid conversations. And I was tracking to find out exactly how accurate those was. And I was going
Mhm.
back and talking with parents, and sure enough, it was very accurate, very, very accurate from the conversations they were having. And I had to cipher that out because she was one for formal names more than anything else. She was an old farm girl, and she was very presentable when it came to being formal and talking to somebody. She would have called you and you doctor, you know,
Mhm.
and she was very formal. So her calling Steve Stephen and Andy Andrew was what I went by on the guide section of who she was actually talking to. And it was kids that had passed away that was on our block, and staying on the scene right there with her. um, that's how I grew up. And then about in my 20s, early 20s, I had gotten a job doing structural engineering foundation repair, and I was out of town from Columbia. I had gone towards Lancaster, and I was working on an old folks home out there and staying in one of these horrible hotels, a very horrible hotel. Like, it was ran down pretty bad. And all they had was a gas station and a restaurant and this hotel. That's all it was around this corner. Um, so I remember I was going to a place called the Alligator Grill after digging holes and lifting 200 pounds of steel. You get pretty hungry, so I went over there to get something to eat, and the Alligator Grill had this deal where if you could eat a 32-ounce sirloin in an hour, it was free. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing that." And I had a guy that was right next to me. He was like, "Yes, yes, we're doing it." So uh, we ended up getting this meal. We killed it and got back to the hotel, laid down, getting ready for work the next day. I'd say a couple hours after I'd passed out, I got woke up abruptly. The covers of the hotel bed went from chest level up towards my mouth and wrapped around my mouth and my throat, and it constricted, and really, really bad. It cut off all the air supply I had. And that's how I woke up. My eyes was opening up, and all of a sudden there was this dark figure in the room, just as tall as the hotel ceiling itself. It was this
Mhm.
huge dark figure, shadowy figure. And I was starting to throw punches because I was already out of breath. I didn't have anything else left. And I just went for it, started throwing wild punches. And it all of a sudden let go. And I was thinking to myself, I'm the only one in this hotel right now. I had gotten the hotel, specifically that room, because my boss had left and gone back towards Columbia for the night. And so I was looking around and I was like, I must have been working my butt off. I'm so tired, so worn out. I just threw it off
Yep.
as thinking that it must have been my problem.
Mhm.
Some kind of situation that was happening that where I just went ahead and started taking responsibility for it and thinking that I was just worn out. I needed to go back to sleep. So I lay back down, and about 20 minutes later, I've already got my eyes closed, but I'm feeling the covers raising up again from chest level, and it touched my chin. And I threw them off and said, no, no, not again. I walked out. Well, I didn't go back to sleep in there. And the next day, I'm over at the gas station across the street trying to get ready for work, and I'm talking about it with a buddy I work with, going over it, instant replay in my head, letting him know what happened. And the clerk is listening to me the whole time I'm explaining. Well, we get up to the register, and he's like, "Hey, man, I heard what you said, man, and you need to know somebody died in that hotel a little while back."
Mm.
I was like, you know what? That's my luck. That's my luck right there. Go figure. Go figure. And I'm going about my work day just shaking my head. Well, I can't believe that. Good Lord. So boss at the end of the day is like, "Hey, man, we're going home today. We're finishing up. And I can grab y'all's gear out of y'all's room if you want. We can just head on back home." I said, "Yeah, you do that, buddy. You do that. You do that." So this guy was, I didn't say anything to him. This guy was a lurch, old Marine. And he was like, 6'8", 6'9", towering. He was a big, tall guy, tall lurch guy. And I was thinking to myself, if anybody's going to mess with the energies in this room, it's going to be him. So I said, "You go ahead and you do that, buddy." So he went back and he grabbed up our stuff and he came back with this old face. And I was like, "Hey, man, what you got that old face for?" He was like, whoa. "Hey, man, you need to tell me the truth, man. Did you attack somebody last night?" I said, "What?" He said, "Did you attack somebody last night?" I said, No, of course not." He said, "Well, just tell me the truth, man." I'm like, "Dude, I'm for real. I went and got food and I passed out and that's it." He said, "Well, look, man, the lady cleaning the hotel was in there when I was grabbing your stuff up, and she found something under your bed, and I thought that I might need to grab it up for you." I was like, "Well, I appreciate that, but what the hell are you talking about?" He said, "It's a rock in the sock, dude." I said, "A rock in the sock? Are you serious? I ain't seen one of those in 10 years. He said, "Well, uh, yeah, I thought I was doing you a solid." I said, "I appreciate you, but you ain't doing me no solid with that. I've got to see this." So we went out to the work truck, and sure enough, it's a dried up, bloodied, crustied up rock in the sock. It's got electric tape and duct tape wrapped all around it. One of them old school Nike knee sock, and that thing's full of railroad track rocks. And we cut it open, and there was dried up blood all over it. And I just threw my hands up like, "This is my luck. This is my luck right here. I slept on that. That's not good. That's not good."
I always check hotel rooms. Every time I stay at one, I check under the bed.
Well, I know now.
I check everywhere. And I started doing it when we had our first baby because, I didn't want her, like if somebody dropped pills or something, so I just started doing it out of that. And then as you start to travel more and you hear more stories, I walk in and before I do anything, I'm checking every inch of that room.
Totally
Because
understandable.
if I find anything, I want a different room.
Yeah. And, you know, and that freaked me out so bad
Yeah.
that was, you know, quite a bit of a paranormal experience. I figured if this wasn't me, if somebody else had experienced this, who would they go to for help? Who would they be able to find that would actually listen to them and think, hey, this guy's not crazy. We don't need a psychiatric evaluation right away. So what I've been thinking is you know, just going ahead and creating the opportunity for people to come to somebody and get help without that reasonable judgment thrown for a loop as to just way too real. Let me listen to what you got to say.
Yep.
You know, let's see if we can take lemons, make lemonade.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we do a lot. Like when we get inquiries in, oh, I'd say probably about 90% of about 90% we don't even entertain. But, you know, there's a good majority of them where we just have Zoom calls and we just give them the floor. And that's always what I tell them. I say, you know what, the floor is yours and there's nothing you can tell us that is going to make us like think you're crazy, because we've seen it all, we've heard it all, we've felt a whole bunch of it. You know, so, you know, there's nothing you can tell us where we're gonna go, yeah, you're
That's
batshit
very
crazy.
true.
That's just not gonna happen.
That's very true. I'm very much in depth with all of my investigating.
Yeah.
Dr. Leigh can sit back and explain. She's seen my records. It's tremendous.
Yep.
I've got such a stock up now of everything, you know, and working with exorcists for the past 5 years, it's quite a wide range variety of things to talk about with all of that. And I mean, you know, the worst cases is the ones that you walk into that you've underestimated as to them saying, oh, it's just a ghost thing. Oh, okay. So we get into this ghost thing and come to find out it's on the Trail of Tears. There's 10 different people that have passed away with quite a bit of experience of traumatic problems. And all of a sudden you're going from doing the regular investigating to finding out that there was 3 murders in the home.
Yeah.
You know, and it that's one of the craziest experiences I've had because, you know, when we go into these houses, we want to make sure that we're not alone. We want to make sure that we have somebody present with us because it's not a Zoom call.
Exactly. Yeah.
we did that part of it, and they said, "Oh yeah, you can come investigate." Okay, so we have written permission slip now to be on your property.
Yeah.
And let me just go ahead and do a background check. You know, and everything goes well with that. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna choose my team. And you know, I'm picking them as I go, and I'm a month down the road, and all of a sudden, the day of, everything that could go wrong with the people that you chose has gone wrong. And they are nowhere close to being able to help you that. So all of a sudden,
see, and the spirits have a way of doing that on purpose because we had an investigation in Vegas, and it was just a small apartment, and the other investigator and I had all these plans to go. He called me mid-afternoon. My car broke down, his like engine block cracked. I mean, it was beyond repair. He needed a new car. He's like, can you just come pick me up on your way to the investigation? We'll go. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I got you. Hour later, our water heater burst and we have water everywhere. So I'm like, you know, the landlord comes out, they're fixing it. You know, I'm like, okay, we'll just be a little late, but I got you. I'll still come get you. As I'm walking out the door, this is during the beginning of COVID, we get a call from my son's music school saying that his class was exposed to COVID and we all had to quarantine. And I was like,
that's crazy. Do you guys think that when those situations come about, do you think it's more the spirits that are trying to keep you away, or do you think it could be perhaps spirit guides or angels, whatever you believe in, trying to protect you?
I believe there's a lot of all of that. Just to be honest with you, I've classified several on one occasion. You know, the angels stepping in, celestials going, no, not today, sir, not today. And there's a couple of demons that was just sitting back throwing cars underneath the house and everything. Just like, yes, it's today. Yes, it is today. Yes. I mean, they're all working. They're all working right there. And I can totally tell. And I can cash some chips towards total natural as well. I mean, people are people too. So there's a lot of things going on like that. And harbored feelings with past life residual or intelligent, spiritual, those right there aren't going to pick you up and throw you around the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they're not going to try to attack your entire family just because you said you wanted to walk around in there. That's not going to happen. You know, it's real deal Holyfield stuff that can happen to you that lets you know, and you better take the sign, because if you don't, there's a problem. It lets you know.
Yeah, I had a situation like that recently where I was supposed to go on an investigation and I kept not feeling good. And this was like weeks leading up to it. And I called my husband one day. This was like maybe 3 days before I was supposed to drive down. I said, something's telling me just not to go. And he's like, well, what is it? You're not feeling good again? And I go, I just have this overwhelming feeling that I'm not supposed to go. So I didn't go. And nothing happened at this location. That was a great investigation. Team had they got a lot of evidence. It went as planned. It was all good. The only thing I can think of is it was a spirit guide protecting me from on the way getting there. That's the only thing I can think of. And
or could the investigation have gone wrong if you had been there?
That is very true, because it was a location where the residents did reveal that the family members who they believed are still there were incredibly racist. And we actually got evidence of that on EVP.
I love it when that happens.
I know, because it's like, how do you disprove that, right?
Yeah.
How do you?
That's
what is it?
Stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
But and I was talking to a friend, and I'm like, that the only thing I can think of is I just wasn't supposed to do that 3-hour drive. I just wasn't supposed to do it. I just kept feeling like an anxiety that is so deep. I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, this is just so unlike me. And it's like, you're not supposed to go. Just don't go. Just don't do it. I was okay. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I chose my path wisely. You know, I said, hey, since everybody else is not able to show up, I'll go. I'm a man of my word. But I started having the lady of the house's husband help me just the same.
Good idea. Yeah.
And I was taking him around the room, and I was showing him all the gadgets and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden things got escalated, and I said, okay, we're about to cleanse this place right now. I fed her some holy water, and it locked her down on the couch, and she contorted. And all of a sudden he was like, what's going on right now? I said, your wife is being channeled. We need to go ahead and handle this right now. So it started hitting up the first 2 points, and I'm hearing some cackles, some laughs, different voices going on. And then all of a sudden, having to walk back across, I'm seeing the contortion is very, very constrictive. All of a sudden, her face was swole up 3 inches past, and different skin color completely. It was like a blowfish all of a sudden, shark eyes, and she was not herself. It's actually not one of somebody's proudest moments. It's very sickening to have to experience and see for yourself. So I tread very carefully and treat it very professionally. I said, we're going to go ahead and get all of this handled right now. So we knocked out the other 2 corners, come back. And she said, we are legion, we are many. And all of a sudden her dog is trying to attack something, trying to come out of the wall. And I was holding holy water, just trying to get that thing out of her for probably close to about 20 minutes or so before everything finally happened. And then whenever I started seeing the approach where things are looking better, she starts the gurgling, and her husband's like, well, what's going on right now? I said, get the trash can. He's like, what? I said, get the trash can, dude. It's time. So he's bum rushing to get the trash can, and we're keeping her from puking all over the place. And then whenever she come back to, she didn't know anything that had happened. No clue. And I kept it that way. I recorded the whole thing, but I did not give it to her. And electronic transfer is one of the major problems that I have with some of these people that are showing their evidence, per se, online. I don't do that as much whenever it comes to those darker cases. And the main reason why is because of electronic transfer. There's things that happen to the people that are watching.
Yes.
It might be an afterthought of everything that you've just dealt with, but you send that to them, a couple of people here and there going, hey, can you check this out? Can you see if there's anything that I might have missed about this? I'm still scratching my head. I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden they get sick. They get boils on their face. They start puking all over the place. They're getting blindly attacked by their family. They don't even understand why. These are all signs that you've contaminated these people with your experience. And so getting rid of that was pretty tricky to do. And specifically, I had handed it over to the church, and something jumped out of the screen and punched this guy in the ribs and put him down in the hospital. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, it's time to be very, very precautious from now on. I'm not tossing evidence all over the place, especially in that situation. Now, little voices here and there, that might be something, but it just depends on the levels of intensity, which classifications it is. You know, there's a total difference between something that resonates in a ghost, or a spirit. I can say a ghost is somebody trapped. A spirit is a crossed over soul that comes back every now and then to visit. And if it's not anything like that, then you're not going to be checking it out online from me.
Do you protect yourself in any way?
Absolutely.
You do?
Every day, all day. The spiritual war is very real. And the closer you are to God, the more that they're going to try to get you. They worry about how much good you're going to be doing in this world. And they want to try to ruin that. And if you haven't even experienced, then you're not even in prayer, basically. That's the way I see it. I'm very protected. I wake up, I say my prayers. I have everything on memory. And you got to be able to, know exactly what to say, when to say it, when you see things going on. Now, I cleanse my home at least once a month in between all of my investigations, any interviews that I have with my clients, things like that. I'm always protective. Even the screen itself gets holy water doused. And I anoint with oil after a really good bath and a shower. And I've got the holy salt that I'm throwing across all of my thresholds. I'm always blessing my crosses, wearing protection, and as well as Saint Benedict's medals. I always have a few Saint Benedict's medals around, and I'm quite protective, especially because whenever you're a father and a mother, I'm sure you do have to think about your family being involved with all of these cases. Most of the time, it would be a little bit more perfect to deal with if you didn't have anything to lose. If you were one of those people that just didn't have anything to lose right there, okay, you just walk out from the street and handle that. But but I'm not like that, you know.
Yeah, no,
Full-time job, full-time
Yeah.
father, and I'm running this house by myself now, and you know, you got to pay the bills before you can even go out and handle anything to help everybody else.
Exactly.
And when you're seeing the spiritual warfare in between, when you're taking cases and all of a sudden it's affecting somebody at work that you work with, that you deal with, that sucks. That's the worst of it.
That's what
they're not going to understand.
It's a coworker you don't like. Then it's their problem.
that could be pretty bad too. If they have some authority, that could be pretty bad too.
So true.
They utilize all of the. They utilize all of that. They can come at you from many different levels. They mess with your relationships. You know, they just as much as anything with work. They love tampering with somebody's marriage. They love tampering with you know, kids. They'll mess with your kids. It'll be bad. I'm sure Dr. Leigh already very aware.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
no, we're building a house, and I always have my apartments and my homes locked down with, you know, crystals and salts and all of that stuff. And I actually had Father Sean Whittington send me blessed sea salt, and I sprinkled it all on the foundation as they're building the house before it even went up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I love that. I was actually going to ask, that was going to be my question, is what do you guys do? What do you do anything specific, Heather, before you go on an investigation? Do you do any type of meditation or?
A couple of different things. I usually, I have, of course, the pentacle that I wear when I go on investigations. I have a little too much information, but I have crystals that I tuck in my bra. Tiger's
Girl,
eye,
I do it too.
You know,
I do it too.
You do what you need to do.
We're carrying enough.
Handle it.
Look, it's a pocket. That's where it's
exactly. And then other than that, I don't do much. I do have a sage spray that I'll keep in my pocket. And actually it's like a handmade sage roller. So it's like a roller ball type of, you know, like the essential oil roller balls that I've made myself. And I have those in my pocket because I want to go in to have the experience and to like not be totally protected just to see what would happen. But I have the equipment with me during it. But then afterwards, of course, I go outside, completely sage myself from head to toe. And then I have what I call an exorcism bath. It has sage, rosemary, thyme, and sea salt. And I'll just throw it in the tub as hot as it can be. And I just kind of soak in it after the investigation.
There you go. That's good.
I like that. Real good. Yeah. I think I've noticed a common theme with interviewing people over almost a year now is cleansing, like showering, some kind of bath after an investigation. And I just started doing that in the very beginning, just out of like, it just was kind of intuitive, I guess. It's like, and it wasn't just about being out all night. Yeah. It wasn't about just being out all night and you feel kind of grimy. It was more than that. It was like, I need to like wash this off. And
well, you know, sometimes we are in the worst of places. Let's be honest.
So
you know,
that is
you go up into places with mold for like 300 years, you know, you're going to have to wash that off.
That is,
there ain't no walking in and just passing out and rubbing it all over your pillows and your blankets are enjoying it right there. Now you don't want to do that.
No,
you really don't.
It feels deeper than that though. Like it is. Like,
it's very
whatever energy happened to follow you. I just feel like I have to, you know, get rid of it. And like I do a lot of meditation before I go on any investigation. I do a lot of golden light meditation. And I sometimes I do it while I'm on investigation. If I feel like something's not right, I'm doing a meditation.
Well, a lot of times you're going to have to deal with some opportunities to counsel. You know, these deceased people.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't know, and they want to cling on to you specifically because you have life. And the more life you're showing to them, the more they're going to want to be right there next to you. I mean, look, I know myself personally. I'm a very sporadic person, and I can be a joker at times. And I mean, I have made these things laugh from the opposite side. I've been listening to a spirit box for so long that I can make some jokes and know exactly when they just had a good time on the opposite side. You know, so that right there just causes them to want to be around you way more than hanging out wherever, dealing with a 300-400-year-old place that doesn't have anybody living there anymore. They're like, no, we want to be around you.
You know what else I do is I will also, like, we have a closing statement, but internally, like in my head, I also have like my own kind of closing statement. And I always envision like a brick wall, like you can't go past here. Like I'm closed off now. You know, I'm done. You can't come in my car. You stay here.
I've had to deal with that from the Conjuring house. And you know, I felt the basement was trying to take me over. I was doing an Estes method, and I clicked out for probably about 10 minutes straight. And this thing knew a lot about me, and I didn't say nothing about me whenever I was in there. So this thing was explaining a lot that I didn't want to have explained to me from Conjuring house. And when I was in the library, I watched something get picked up and thrown across the room. Had one of those little tripods set up for a camera. And it went from the middle of the library over by the little globe in the corner and thrown over towards the opposite of the kitchen, if you know what I'm talking about there. And I stood up from that, and we were doing a little bit of a ghost box session, and an alarm went off that I had set up on a doorknob where it's one of those light rope alarms, and it's a blue one, and I'd set it up as a trigger to be able to know when something's crossing the threshold right there by the doorknob, and it lit up. And I had been recording on Skype and had people back at home as a watchtower for me, let me know when things were happening. They literally caught a blue translucent figure showing up when that thing lit.
Oh wow.
And whenever they said that, hey, there's a figure right there. There's a figure right there. And I walked through, and I was going over towards the recording, and they have this little Annabelle doll that's theirs set up in the corner there where the dining room table incident happened. You know, where the lady of the house got channeled, picked up and thrown towards the fireplace there. Well, right there is where they got that Annabelle doll. And I had walked up towards that area right when I had heard about that figure. And all of a sudden, the whole house started shaking. These loud booms. The entire house shook. Foundation and walls and all of it shook at the same time. Boom, boom, boom. It got louder, and it got stronger. And it was about 4 or 5 booms right in a row. Boom, 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 boom. I was needing a break after that. I walked outside, and I would say it's in the middle of January there, and it was snowing, and I was looking at the tree line and where the snow could be falling. You know, in January in Rhode Island, it's really thick to see the snow. And if you don't have a tree line present, it's very easy. It's very easy. It's really, really very easily to see where those tree lines are. So I didn't see anything that was like right beside the house that would have caused an experience of a heavy snowfall to have shook the entire foundation like that. And I was just going through and trying to think of any type of reasonable explanations that it could have been.
Yeah.
But that night was not very reasonable at all. I went back up in there, and upstairs, there's the kids' room and the little toy cars on the dresser. And I was watching as toy cars shot across the dresser off on the floor. And I wanted to go play cards, and I wanted to show the kid a magic trick with the cards, because I got a couple of magic tricks for cards, and after the first one, all of a sudden the whole rocking chair wanted to do that number, and the whole night was unreasonable. I was at the 2 spots where they kept the dead in the middle of winter. Upstairs, I went in there and I did a ghost session. And then down in the basement, I went into that cold room as well. And it's quite an experience. I hung out at the well, but I didn't want to jump into it.
No.
You know how that's a thing for some people.
Mhm.
I don't feel that way because I'm actually dealing with crawl spaces every day for my job, and it doesn't that doesn't do anything for me. But
Yeah.
I was right there next to it. The next morning, I decided to end up walking down towards the river stream right next to the house. And on the river, they have this little wooden bridge. And I was taking photos of the river stream. And sure enough, there's faces
Oh, wow.
that show up in the water coming at me.
Mm.
Now, no parlor tricks there. And I did some very critique things towards my camera to be able to make sure that I wasn't just
Mhm.
thinking about things and you know, they're getting paranoid or you know, experiencing the gift of gab where you're just wanting to talk yourself into having an experience and all of a sudden you got it. No, I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. I was in the woods. I was in the woods and I was 16 hours from my house. So I didn't think about doing that. I was just taking photos, being up in those woods. And a few of them over towards that water, I experienced there's literally a face coming out at me right out of the water.
Yeah, I was actually, you answered my one question. I was going to ask, Conjuring House, is it worth the hype or not? But you just answered that question.
Yeah.
I'll say it's better now. It's way better now because I actually trust the guy that owns it. The guy that's getting it now from Ghost Hunters. I would trust that guy any day.
Yeah.
Rather than the woman that just owned it. She actually
100%.
had a dog come at one of my people. You know, that morning right before we had walked down to the river stream, that lady let her dog out from her side. She hangs out right next to the merchandise room and the room where that fridge is, where everybody that's a ghost hunter writes on that wall and signatures all over that wall. She stays in that area and let her dog out. And this little 4-foot goth girl that was hanging out with me that night was out there and saw the dog come out and was like, "Oh, there's a cute little doggy coming in, a cute little poochie." And then all of a sudden, that dog just was ready to snarl, and I had to get in between them because I knew from an experience before. I've been attacked by dogs.
Yeah.
And I know when dogs are ready. And I got up in the middle of that one and let him know real quick I ain't backing down. And I can tell you right now, I am not that afraid of what that dog's going to do as much as what I would do if I had to. If I had to. Only if I had to, though. I'm not going to want to. And so I just got up in the middle of them. And this lady didn't want to stop her dog from attacking.
Oh, no.
And acted like we were trespassing. I'm like, "Lady, we've been here all night. We paid for this. You want to see our ticket?" I deserve a free T-shirt right now. Serious, lady. And it's like that. I don't trust that lady. And I heard that she messed with people that traveled all over the world and bought tickets to this place. Messed with people from other countries that were wanting to show up in America for the first time, and that was their experience, getting treated like that. And that lady deserves a lot of karma coming. A lot of karma. And I'm looking forward to that. But so far so good. so far so good. They took her out of that home and put her where she needed to be. That's for sure. You know, as drunk as she was all the time with roaming the roads like that, that's scary. You don't want you or your family to die because of somebody driving that stupid. And I commend the police officers that actually stopped her. And she could sit back and go, "I'm the owner of the Conjuring House all dang day." Yeah, you're going to jail, lady, because you smell like alcohol, and your breathalyzer test needs to be through the roof. Just probably for the next 2 days. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure she reeked after that. I saw all
I'm
that.
sure.
I saw that little TV station right there getting on it, recording all that live
I've been
TV.
following it through his updates and everything, and
I'm commending him. I'm
he's
glad
he's
and
done
Miss
so much work to and it's not just about
Andrea Perrin asked him to do that.
she
And she
did because
deserved to be able to have somebody take that over just to give her peace of
100%.
mind.
Yeah.
And I'm
But
sure it
he's
helped him.
just wanting to preserve the true history of it. And,
Right. Right. The
not
Arnold
make it
home.
such a spectacle. And
Exactly.
you
Yeah,
know, and
tours are one thing. Tours are one thing. You know, and you rent a night, okay, cool. But you start doing some witchcraft up in there, and I can imagine he's probably going to say, "Hey, hit the road, buddy. Hit the road."
He will.
Now, his daughter was a tour guide in there for a little while, Satori. Satori, I think it is. And I commended her for all of her efforts. She literally tried her butt off to make sure that everybody, had a good experience in there. And I know she even tried to get that banquet hall that's in front of the place with the big skeleton. She tried to get that taken care of, but there was a fire. So she lost a lot of money right there from personal belongings, and they didn't get any of that back. She just pretty much just screwed everybody on that. Didn't pay the employees. All the ghost tours that they were doing was for free, and one guy was stacked up through the roof, probably about a year. He was just sitting there like, "Please pay me, please. I'm living off of beans." At that point in time, I feel like those people deserved a lot more justice than they got from all of this.
Yeah.
Courts ain't making sure they get paid that much from what they lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that this guy's taking over. Pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
And then real quick, I'm sure Tiffany has some questions. I want to circle back to the protecting yourself before you go on an investigation. Something that I remembered while we were talking is back when I was in Vegas, I would be talking with, he was Reverend Sean, but he's Father Sean now, and just going over a case that we were getting ready to go to. And I just was bringing up it was borderline that it could have been demonic, but we weren't 100% sure. So basically we were going to go in first, and then if we needed his help, we were going to bring him in. But one thing he said to me at the end of the call was, make sure you cover your head. He wanted to make sure I wore a baseball hat. Now I'm assuming that there's significance in my making sure I do that, but
in general, when you're walking into a place like that, you're going to feel touched. You don't want that to be flesh that they're touching on. That's what he was talking about.
Okay.
And you want to be protected. Yeah.
Because I wore a baseball cap. That was about all I had. But
I also believe that it has a lot to do with the different religions as well.
Yes, I was actually going to bring that up.
It has a lot to do with the culture of the person walking in. Some religious beliefs are different from others. I myself personally, I was raised Episcopal. And they might be a little drunk every now and then, but they handle themselves quite well. I can say the St. Michael prayer, Our Father, and I can make sure that I'm doing blessings for myself, for my team, and you can go in there with high hopes. But once you're feeling something grabbing a hold of you, just try not to make sure that it's on flesh. You don't want to go in there with your arms, just wide open. That's not one of them places. If you start getting signs that there's a little bit of a darker presence right there, go ahead and say your prayers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Before you're even walking in, make sure that everything's good with you, and say the prayers with intent. Don't just blindly say it. And I always say it past tense, if that makes sense. I'm always telling, all right, thank you for blessing all of this for me. I appreciate it. You don't just want to ask because you've already been given the authority. Some people just go ahead and keep on the beg, and I ain't one for constantly begging. I want to let it know I'm very aware of the authority that a human has over these darker things. At times, you needing to be able to to keep your mental right,
Mm-hmm.
because these things love to try to trick you.
Yes.
They will have inner manifestations, outer manifestations. They'll come at you from all figures. I've got 3 whole pages of a checklist to be able to take care of when I'm assessing for my exorcist, and I treat that pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you're having to go into a home where you're supposed to be the assessor, you're looking at the person and they're not there anymore, and their next of kin is sitting back going, we need help right now. You're just wanting to make sure that you have solidified proof for everything that you need to take back to the church to go to the next step. Some people run, some people can't do all that. They go in for that little ghost. They go in for the ghost hunter thing. They get their brown pants moment and then they take off. They're like, no, we're not doing that no more.
They wouldn't have done that in this case. Yeah,
no,
we walked in. My fellow investigator, his eyes went solid black and he lost time. And I was like afraid because he like towers over me. So I'm like, crap, what do I do if he decides to attack? We were called in because the daughter was dabbling in witchcraft, and they brought me in because I know all of that stuff. But the mom was Roman Catholic. I was raised Roman Catholic, so I was like almost the perfect investigator to go to that one. And we found a tarot deck, and we were trying to find the card. The death card was missing. And we found it under the mom's bed.
Oh, wow.
But the daughter swore she didn't put it there. So we had that. And then when it came time to cleanse the house, I was like picked up and dropped.
Oh, that was that case.
I don't know if I was picked up and dropped or if I was pushed or shoved, but it was, I literally, I felt like I flew in the air, and the 2 seconds it took felt like 3 minutes to me. It felt like forever. It was in slow motion. And
I'd be so mad.
I know
you were. You yelled at it.
I got up and yelled at it. I was like, you don't treat people like that. And I'm just yelling at it. But then the homeowner sold the house and we weren't able to go back to follow up. So
that's a shame. I've been in a haunted hotel and had experiences like that where we were running a paracon and having to protect all of the guests. And sure enough, a few of them just wandered off a little bit too far. Away from everybody, astray, and lady was choked, and it hurt her so bad she puked.
Oh man!
And she just stayed on the couch outside in the voyeur room, just watching TV for the rest of the night. Didn't even go back inside. It can happen. I was right beside somebody in West Virginia State Penitentiary that got scratched up. In the basement area, what's called the Sugar Shack. There was a guy that was with his girlfriend and another group. They were already in there, and we were tracking from outside of the basement area. And the ghost box had told us to go off into there, so that's where we ended up. They were already there doing their investigating. So we did the monster mashup, and I had an IR flashlight, Black & Decker, where it shines green for neutral, blue for cold, red for hot, and it'll show the digital on the temperature. And I also have a laser grid that I lock on top of that so that I can see literally when something's trying to jump up in the way, not just getting a flashlight approach, but I wanted to see something mapped out if possible. And all of a sudden that gear got malfunction, and my buddy was like, Stokes, what that mean? I put my back towards the wall of a block pier, and all of a sudden I heard and dude had rake marks all the way down across his back because he was wide open. He had exposed himself, and he had handed his rosary to his girlfriend, so he was the one that got attacked, and she was okay.
There's this kind of, I feel like there's this idea going around recently with some teams where they want to be open so much. They don't want to protect themselves in any way, and they just want to go in, and they just want to be open. And what concerns me is, okay, you want to be open or you want to talk about that, that's fine, but what does that actually mean to you?
Well, it's not
Because
really what should mean to you as much as do you care about the people around
that
you?
yeah,
How much do you protect your people? Because
people
it's not just
don't
you. You
understand.
go and provoke,
Yes.
yeah, they provoke and everything like that. They
Yeah.
don't really care. They caution is to the wind, and it's the next person that could be attacked right next to you. It's not you. And you just literally end up opening them up for discussion
Yes.
on getting attacked because
Yes.
you're careless.
Because you don't know what another person is going through. You know, we're all going through things, and there could be somebody there who is just going through something really heavy.
Yeah.
And then you walk in there and you're completely open, and whatever is kind of uneven, unintentionally invited in, and
Yeah,
it's going to latch on to the weakest link. And
that's true.
I've
That's
been
true.
hearing this idea over and over: go in and be open and don't protect yourself as much, because that hinders your ability to capture evidence. If something's there, it's going to somehow show up. It's going to be, you're going to get the EVPs, you're going to get, something is going to happen.
It
I
depends on
think
your
people are
motives,
getting,
really.
yeah, I
You
think
know,
people
the
are getting
motives there.
greedy though. They want
Yeah.
that golden piece of evidence. They want that apparition on
Everybody's trying
video.
to go for the gold. They're hoping that
And
whatever they've got is going to get them some kind of money
mhm,
and, on views or anything like that. But
yep.
I tell you what, it's so highly oversaturated right now. If you're on YouTube and you type in top 10 ghosts or whatever,
Oh,
you're
it's
going to see top
ridiculous.
10 ghosts of every 10 minutes pop up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a mile a minute. You're
Mhm.
literally going to be able to watch all day, every day,
Mhm.
and there is no stopping that. So it's
Mhm.
so highly oversaturated right now. I seriously doubt that the views are going to even hit.
Yeah.
It takes like what, 1 million views just to see what, $10, $100 or
I
something
know.
like that. The subscribers, you got to,
Yeah.
they give you the ultimate goal of the unsubstantial just to be able to get there. For any monetization, you got to know
Mhm.
how to break in there and
Mhm.
even get their algorithm to catch yourself and go. But it ain't off of stuff like that. It's way
No.
too saturated now. Everybody types in ghost for a hashtag. You're not going to get there like that, buddy. You're
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you another problem that people are having is they always are blaming demons. Every
Yeah.
single place that they go into has demons in
That
it.
was going to be another
They
question.
they try to
Yeah.
do that so that they can get the views up.
Yep.
And I've seen that very highly oversaturated as
Mhm.
well. So
So, what is the percentage of cases that you're on personally that turns out to be something truly demonic?
I'd say 96% is not demonic.
Mhm.
There's that 4% where I
Mhm.
have done interviews online
Mhm.
and watched people getting channeled and watched their homes getting tossed upside down and their families getting scared to death. Um, and I've been in homes where all of a sudden people turn and they're channeled, and it's only a 4% rating right now, and I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
Unless I was actually put on a case where I was
Mhm.
told, "Hey, this is bad,
Mhm.
okay, and you need to be there," and I'm like,
You
"Archbishop say
kitty.
what? Archbishop say what?" He's like, "Okay, this is bad, and you need
Yeah.
to be there." Okay, I'm like, "Well, if you know it's bad, why don't you go?" He's like, "Because you're first in line." I'm like, "Okay, all
Yeah.
right." So I'm always the one that gets put into it and
Mhm.
finds out if it's the real deal.
Mhm.
And I would say it's a 6% from everything that I've been involved with. There's some types of other things that can mimic those
Yeah.
situations. I've been in situations where, these people are crying and complaining and swearing up and down that it's something that's unholy, but yet they're begging for it at the same time.
Mhm. Or they want,
There's mental
yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
There's mental problems. There's instability. I always want to ask for a psychiatric evaluation at that point in time. I always do a background check because I'm not putting myself and my team in a situation where we get messed up because of it. I'm protective. I'm very, very protective of my people like that. And I don't want to see us get trampled on with anything like that. But I'm also very protective of our clients too. We've been in the limelight with several different situations where there was national news. We had to be very, very watching out for all of that. We didn't want to be on news channels, and we were asked to be right there outside of the news channels doing what we needed to do. It's a dangerous situation altogether, even when it's not the demonic. There's mentally ill people that are way worse than some of the haunted places that I've been into.
Yeah.
Way worse. I don't trust people as much as I can trust myself walking in a haunted house. Okay. I don't trust people as much.
It's people. So how do you, and I guess counsel people who swear up and down that there's a demon in their home or they're possessed, and you know for a fact they're not? Yeah.
You got that checklist, and you verify with them 100% of the way. And you can either lead them, just like that old saying, lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. And sometimes that happens. You can literally have every bit of evidence proving that it's nothing paranormal at all. I've seen radon go through the roof in a home. I've seen carbon monoxide poisoning. I've seen mold. And I've done quite a bit of inspections very thoroughly, and known for a fact that this person has had way too much mold poisoning. They're hallucinating.
Yeah,
they're
that's actually a really common one.
Yeah,
that people don't realize. It's a problem, and we've had in the last year a case come through where they are still terrified that there is something demonic in their home and messing with the entire family. And they admitted that they have not only black mold issues that has not been remedied yet, but there's also electrical issues. And we're like, we can't come in and investigate. We wouldn't do it anyway because we don't deal with that. But we can't go in and investigate if you have these things going on. So if you get them taken care of and you can show us proof that it's been taken care of, then we can continue to talk. But if you're constantly exposed to all of this, and the cats, Heather's cat just jumped up on her. Like, cats are going crazy right here. If you can't prove to us that you've had these issues taken care of that we know can cause all of the symptoms you're telling us, there's nothing we can do for you at this moment.
I've tracked it. There's been guys that were literally trying to beg me to showing up and helping them out. They were swearing it was a demon, saying that this thing's trying to mess with them in ways that ain't really pleasant at all.
Yeah.
But sitting back, also explaining to them that they've been breathing in way too much problematic mold that's hanging out right beside their bed. That you can literally see it on the screen as you're pointing. It's like right there, right there, dude. You can sit back and explain that all day. But sometimes they don't want to listen. Sometimes you find out that they were only going for attention.
Yeah.
Or they were just literally paused for the cause. They wanted to just push that straight to the max, no matter what. Nobody could say anything else, but this was paranormal.
Yeah.
They won't take the hint. Sometimes they just won't. And it's sad, but you have those moments of clarity where you at least know. You explain it to the homeowner, and then you walk away knowing that you did the right thing. It's not paranormal. This is something right here that you need to fix with your home. I do a thorough routine base inspection and getting base readings. I check for moisture damages, water damage, most especially. I'm looking for those molds. I'm looking for high EMF stuff where it goes off through the roof, where it's not a normalcy, it's a spike. That they would say is commercial property usage only, and you're only looking at a 2-bedroom little home. on the hill right next to the power line. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those power lines are something pretty special. They'll fry your brain like chicken.
Yeah.
And nobody really pays attention like that, but they're just hanging out right next to it all day, every day. And that can be a really bad problem for some people. They're even your cell phone. I've been in a rural area where somebody got sick every time somebody pulled a cell phone out because they just don't care about phones. They had an old school landline, and that's as far as they took it. Yep. And once somebody brought out them cell phones, it's all 5G and getting them sick every single time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then you just have to hope that they don't call another team in who's going to, you know.
You watch out for that and protect the client just as much. You make sure that they're calling you instead of everybody else like that.
Yeah. Yep. So one question I do have is, over your last 25 years, have you ever had a case or an experience that kind of changed and altered your views on the paranormal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit. Like I was talking about earlier, you know, you're going into a situation where you're expecting to inspect and then, you know, investigate a regular ghost case. And, you know, I've been in some pretty historic properties, and one sticks to mind where I was in Camden, and Camden, South Carolina has some spots where there's historic place, and everybody knows about this place. It's huge house, and we had permission to be there, and there's only been quite a few that I'm aware of, but you're not supposed to post stuff on YouTube or socials or anything like that. And this person tried to do that over and over again that I was with, and I kept constantly letting them know, yeah, homeowner finds out about that, and they're coming after you, I promise.
Yeah.
So I've had to step away from that, where I knew that it was very paranormal, but these people try to do things that they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And they're pissing off the homeowners. Or, you know, I mean, even that right there is explanatory. They found human remains of, this was a place where the Revolutionary War happened, where the Civil War happened. And they found Indian bodies. They were sitting up inside of a room while we were around. And we were supposed to do what we were supposed to do and not touch the other room right up in there where everything was going on for the archaeological findings. Then there was plenty of other things to roam and do. But I had to step away for a minute because I'd heard that there was some other issues in a different location right beside it. There's different places that were not just the big house. So you walk on down and you got what used to be property that was nothing but slaves in that area. Or you're walking into an area where it used to be a fort for the Revolutionary War, where you know for a fact that there was a whole bunch of British people shooting down people from South Carolina right there. I've been in those areas. I've had to talk to the victims, and I know quite a bit of them. And it's the experience for me is just to remain humble and keep yourself from doing something really stupid in that situation. Don't go asking for trouble. Don't provoke. Just be there and stay respectful, and keep your distance as well. Don't let things, you know, follow you home, like you've said.
Yeah.
You don't want to have these attachments. You want to tell them to stay right where they're at on site before you're even leaving.
Yep. We do have a question in the comments real quick from Ginger. What do you guys think of egregores?
Egregores.
They're I think they're very real. I think if you believe something strong enough, I've always felt this way. If you believe something strong enough, then it can be manifested.
I will say that the closest I've gotten to so far, skinwalkers are real. I know that for a fact. Sasquatch we have quite a bit of sightings of Sasquatch because they followed the water coming through South Carolina. They're trying to stay in the rural areas and get around cities. But egregores, I mean, I've never ran into any. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm not going to put it past them. I'm not going to underestimate a situation where I walk in and not think that they might be around.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we do have, I mean, Ginger, if you want to stay tuned next month, let me pull up the calendar real quick.
Oh, yeah.
On August 26th, I have a presentation about the Philip experiment, and it talks heavily about different thought forms as well. So that will be coming up next month.
Well, Tulpas, everything like that. You know, different names. It's kind of like different cultures, different languages for me. You know, you walk into one area and somebody's going to be explaining a ghost situation, but it's a spirit to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know in the research that we've been doing with the Hat Man, some people are even thinking that he's an egregore.
It's it's very possible. I've even had sightings over towards Charleston for dealing with the Hat Man situation there. Yeah, but it was actually somebody that was doing construction work on the Amityville house when he came back. Was when he had issues.
Oh.
So be precautious doing some construction work. On these different places, bringing stuff home.
Yep.
That's an interesting question right there. That was pretty interesting.
He's answered everything I had.
Yeah. The only thing I have left is our rapid fire questions that we hold till the end. But one thing that you had brought up before we went live, you're doing nonprofit work?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A few years ago, I'd say for the past 10 years, I've been working with a state group, South Carolina Ghostbusters. We help out kids with cancer, and we help out Special Olympics. I've gone towards making sure that we're doing something for Epworth Children's Home and taking care of the foster kids there.
Awesome.
We raise money towards getting them a whole bunch of arcade cards, partnered up with Dave & Buster's. And it's been a journey for that. We made sure that the kids at these children's homes are getting taken care of with all the essentials, you know, toothbrushes, toothpaste, blankets, pillows, everything regular, as well as even making sure that they're getting school supplies, things like that. It's been quite a journey for that. And helping out with the Special Olympics is pretty fun. Those kids are always great. I drive Ecto 803 representing for Columbia. I stay a humble car. I'm raising up my own nonprofit just to be able to do what I need to do when I need to do it, instead of having to get permission all the time through all of these other channels. It's like you got your international team and your little state team. You're wanting to go above and beyond, but most of the time you don't get the opportunity to get the okay. You can do that without me thingy. But, you know, it's a great community of people, though, that I work with. I'm pretty happy that I started working to raise people in the Columbia area to doing it. And a couple of years ago, are you still there?
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I'm just double checking because my sound went out for a minute.
Oh, no, my son came out real quick and asked me a question.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, we made sure that we were taking care of the Columbia area for this, and our branch really needed a focus factor to go for the best charity possible with everything. And it's so tough with everything being able to get chosen up. My family was raised over at that foster home, so that's why I chose to do more there. Once I get the opportunity, somebody was like, hey, you want to do the trunk or treat? Okay, sure. You know, the kids love it when you're showing up in a Ghostbuster car and you got candy are chunking around all
That's
over
awesome.
the place.
Yeah.
These kids just pop up out the blue, like running laps. They'll show up 5-6 times in a row with them big old bags going, please feed. It's beautiful to be able to help out with the trunk or treat, to be able to help out with their Christmas times and giving them all of the stuff that they need, all the way down towards the fun times that you can make sure that they're having. It's all worth it. It really is.
Yes, it is.
Dave and Buster's helped me to get arcade cards to them for the past 2 years straight, raising up quite a bit of money for that. And so I got my own hats. I got my own T-shirts. There's my logo. And we've got a 2026 logo that we just did as well. We're going to be selling cups, and we'll be around at different events. And we'll be having some pretty cool concoctions going on with some slushies, some coffees, and raising that money to be able to all go towards making sure these kids are taken care of there.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yep. Love it. And we do have a quick question from Anton. Have either of you seen a manifest spirit, and secondly, seen it disappear?
Yes, quite a bit, and it's not fun. Whenever you're right there with it, it's not something on TV. Yeah. It's not something like the TV shows do. It can materialize, and like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I've thrown punches at these things and watched it disappear. It's not fun. When it's right there in your face and it's choking you and you have nowhere to go but it's a fight or flight, man. It's a fight or flight.
Yep.
I was just lucky that God's on my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen one materialize in front of me, but I have all of a sudden recognized it's a spirit, and then I've seen it slowly disappear.
Yeah, it's happened quite a bit around South Carolina. If you could see all the ghosts that are in the state, you would probably have to walk sideways to squeeze into doorways and all that. You wouldn't be just walking easily towards anywhere. It's a very, very spiritual state. We got quite a bit of history and culture that just causes hundreds and hundreds of years worth of things to come out of the darkness. It's very true.
Yeah, we need more of them here in Texas, and they need to be creating cold spots right now because we're 109.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now's about the time when the attachment should be a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm asking about.
Oh my God.
If I
where
get
are those cold spots were promised?
If I get a possessed refrigerator, I will feed it ice all day.
I feel bad for complaining about the humidity today, Heather. I'm sorry.
It felt good for a few minutes outside because it was dry and it didn't feel so hot, but it feels like you opened the oven.
Yeah.
We hit 112 on my dash the other day working. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's been hot. Yeah.
I'm sitting in my recording studio right now, and my temperature is 90 degrees. I'm sitting at 90 degrees right now, and I've got an AC on.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yep.
My husband said that the AC or the electricity was so high because it's been so hot. We keep it at 76 and it's still just, it's just hot. So
and I'll also say that with the attachments thing, manifestations happen a lot more with items. If you're running across the items of things, I've got a sword that was used in World War II, and I don't let people touch that because it has caused problems for the people that do. I'm not going to say that I wanted to start a museum, but what I'm going to say is I have been a collector of haunted items for quite some time now. And those items, you got to be able to keep distance away from people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure that you're sealing it up properly, that everything's going to be okay around it, because sometimes things go wrong. I've got a cell bar from the old CCI building where my father worked and was running death row. And, I'm also tied towards Pee Wee Gaskin's case. I have actually been at the spot where the serial killer, Pee Wee Gaskins, buried 6 bodies.
Oh, wow.
And I was doing ghost box on that. And he did not like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand why.
Mm-hmm.
He found out my name.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the spirits don't forget.
No, they don't.
No, and I've also been at Larry Gene Bell investigation. That right there was another serial killer, South Carolina, in the Lexington area.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun. Don't bring home a whole bunch of things without knowing that you can take care of it properly.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, because that's where the attachments have shown up that I've known about, where these things materialize. So you all of a sudden have somebody in your home hanging out, and they're like, dude, you just had some kind of shadow figure walking over there, dude. What the hell's going on? It happens. It happens, but because you're bringing home stuff with you and not handling things properly.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't do. I don't go antique shopping.
Yeah, I've been very cautious about that now.
I have a friend who antiques all the time, and she's had so many things happen in her house, and I've told her, and get rid of the desk, get rid of it. They finally had to, they posted it on, I think, a Facebook marketplace, and they were very honest, and they told the person who picked it up what had gone on in their house. And I guess the person was okay with it. They were into the paranormal, and they came and they got it. But I told her for years, I said, you have to get rid of it. So they moved it out of the house into the carport. And I'm like, no, get rid of it.
Yeah, but how you get rid of it is very important.
Yeah, that's why. And I told her, I said, if you're going to get rid of it, you do need to make sure that the people know what you've experienced. So they were lucky. Not everybody's lucky enough to just be able to post it and say, yeah, this is we think this is attached to it. But they got lucky. So
one of the worst ones was a situation where there was a mirror that was shaking.
Oh, wow.
Off of the wall and throwing stuff out of it. It was a medicine cabinet, old school, from the 20s, stuck to the wall, and it was literally shaking the entire wall with it. And it was constantly doing that, and you got to close those portals. And this person tried to take it off the wall, but figured that it was pretty bolted in, so they just might as well just caution to the wind after that. No, I think I'd take a crowbar to that. I really do. I would take a crowbar to that, and I would make sure nobody had to deal with that mirror anymore. But that's just me.
Yeah,
I am not the renter. I'm not the renter. I'm not speaking from the renter's perspective. I'm speaking from an owner's perspective, a homeowner's perspective. That mirror is coming down.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Anything else that you want to mention before we go? And I definitely need you to send me all of your links and everything, and I'll get that posted on our Facebook page as well.
We'll share it.
But before we do our rapid fire question, anything else that you want to make sure we discuss?
Well, I want to be able to try to hear the person's brown pants moments. I bond with people about that.
Brown pants moments?
Yes, I would like to hear one from each, please.
Oh. Heather, you want to go first?
Well, I already shared one of them, so I guess I'll share a different one. It was actually Florence Mine in Goldfield. We were filming a pilot show for Discovery Channel, and we were actually in a mine shaft, and it kind of went off. We got to a point where we could all stand, and there was 3 of us plus the film crew, and then the owner's son kind of came in, but he was standing at the beginning of the shaft. And there was a little area, and the son was like, oh, yeah, you can go back another 10, 15 feet, and it's, all rubble and collapsed. and something called me to go back there. So here I am crawling on my hands and knees, and I get back there. I start an EVP session, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was being crushed, and I started hearing screams of men just screaming for help. And I couldn't do it. So I left because it was it was too much for me. I thought I was going to suffocate and die back there myself. And when I got out, the sun was like the oh shit moment didn't come until this part. And most people would have done it prior to that. But the sun was like, yes, they have confirmation that there's at least 20 bodies still buried in that rubble that they couldn't recover.
That's never fun.
That was my oh crap moment.
I get it. I understand that one. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, mine was, I was about 16 years old, and I woke up to get ready. It was just me and my brother in the apartment. And wake up, get ready, walk out of the bedroom, and I turn the corner because I hear my cat meowing. I'm like, oh, let me go see the cat. Let's see what she's meowing about. I turn the corner to go in the living room, and there's a dark figure almost to the ceiling, probably like a 7-8 foot ceiling, just standing there. I watched it actually stand up, and that was mine.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I say, I'm not ashamed to say that I turned around and jumped in my brother's bed and woke him up. It was a small apartment. My mom had left to go to work. We were up. So we weren't on the bottom floor. We were on the second floor. So it was the balcony and the front door. That was it. Door was locked. No one scaling the balconies.
That's not fun.
Sliding door was locked.
Yeah.
There was no way. There's just no explanation. And we worked up the courage because I freaked him out. We worked out the courage, and of course, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say one of the freakiest for me, I was at a haunted church, and I found a third graveyard in the middle of the woods, away from the other two graveyards that were wide open, that were really, really known to be the graveyard areas. They had a third graveyard, but it was in the woods, and it was the little stones that you could see that was everywhere shaped out. And I had taken somebody for their first time ever investigating back there, and this dude was pretty big. He was pretty big. I'm gonna give him that. But so we go back there, and we're about halfway through that third graveyard, and we literally had something whoosh by us real quick, and it popped into this tree right beside us, and the tree was doing that. And we both knew we didn't see anything, but we literally watched something nail that tree, nailed it hard, enough to be able to see that whole tree doing one of those numbers. And I experienced his first brown pants moment right there. That was a good one. Now, a second one was, I was in a haunted hotel one time. I had taken everybody to the bar to toast on the team after the first night of investigating. And as we're going and toasting, here's to a great investigation, all of a sudden a champagne glass that was sitting upside down back behind the bar slid off the rail and then dropped right in front of the bartender. Then that was her first experience in that bar, and she had been working for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
I said, you want me to tell you, boss, that wasn't your fault? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I got you.
Well, I think you just gave me my engagement post for the week. I'm going to ask our followers to name their brown pants moments and share their stories.
There you go. Yes. I want to know it. Post it in the comments section.
Yep.
Post it in the comments section.
And we'll definitely keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And go and check out Ecto 803.
Yeah, I'll get the links and everything up for that. So you ready for the rapid fire questions?
Rocket.
Okay. Before you became an investigator, were you a skeptic, believer, or somewhere in between?
I was stuck being a skeptic because I was literally living in a paranormal situation. I didn't want to believe everything that was happening.
Okay. What's one investigation mistake you see beginners make over and over?
Provoking. Do not provoke. Always stay as respectful as possible, because everybody else around you might be the one that gets attacked, not just you.
Exactly.
Be aware of it.
Yep.
Be more responsible as a person, as a human being.
Yep. Yeah. If you could investigate one location anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I want to see Stokes Castle in Scotland, and King Edward is my family from the 1300s. I want to go over to that castle as well. That's my family.
Ooh, that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of paranormal evidence you've personally captured?
I would say possessions are on video and audio. And I mean, I even had SLS on at the same time, and the audio captured things that are not supposed to be there. The SLS, well, stick figures are stick figures. They're jumping out at the wall. No reflections in sight except for just something jumping out of the wall. And the video is literally showing the transformation of a person towards being channeled. And it's never good. That's the worst of something that I've ever had to record. And it's not somebody's personal best time. And it's really sad time just to have to witness somebody dealing with that.
Yep. What is one piece of equipment you think every investigator should own, and one that is overrated?
Tri-field meter, being able to really thoroughly document EMF high readings, making sure that you know the spike levels correctly, doing an investigation, know the differences between when something is normal and average and when things are literally showing up and spiking on the spot that are not supposed to be there. That's pretty important. I would say also just use yourself to be able to go in as a tool as well.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times people revert towards gadgets a lot. I am on the scientific side of all this, but I like to rely on myself more for the intuition portion of that. I want to walk in as me being the one to investigate and not just use tools, electronics, scaring the homeowners, freaking them out every time you pull a new thing out. What the hell was that? What was that? They're seeing the gauges doing one of those numbers. And you're like trying to explain it, but just don't.
Yep. Team Ghost or Team Bigfoot?
Ghost. Team Ghost.
Okay.
I like Bigfoot. He's cool with me. He ain't never really messed with me, even though I've already tried to hunt him down quite a bit. It's not too fun whenever you're in the woods and having to pull your gun out and shoot something that's 4 times your size and could crush you with its hand. You're putting yourself in a very bad position, guys. Just know that.
Have you ever had a location that you refuse to go back to?
Oh, well, there is one. I cannot name this one specifically because I know these people well. But I'm going to say that these people try to treat this place like the Conjuring House, and all the fire codes, all the mold that you're breathing in, all the structural integrity that this place doesn't have, it's already been shut down. So it's okay now.
Okay. What's one paranormal myth you wish would finally disappear?
A myth that would finally disappear.
Everything's demonic.
Yeah, I gotta say that's a good one. Not everything is demonic, and I would love to be able to see more people go towards the scientific approach. Building my own gear is one of those things where I want a device that detects and prevents these things from being in a home. If a dark entity shows presence, the negativity spark up that alarm system and cause frequency to push and keep that thing at bay. I think that's needed. That's next level for me. That's just R&E.
Yeah.
Yep. If you could ask a spirit one question and know that the answer would 100% be truthful, what would you ask?
If I could ask a spirit something to be truthful, what would it be?
Yeah, and know that they would give you the truth. Yep.
I always try to figure out if they know how they passed away, and whether or not that might tell me whether I'm actually speaking to a ghost, a spirit, or something worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I've caught the malevolent trying to trick me.
Yeah.
And the only way was I looked at the feet, and whether those feet were there or not was the bigger question. But finding out how this thing died is one of those things where they have some problems being able to lie to you about how they did that. If it's the darker entities.
Okay, and the final one is finish the sentence. The paranormal is
real.
Yep.
I like it. Yeah.
Yep. And
the
then
paranormal is real.
Anton asked a question: is Bigfoot in the paranormal category?
Yes.
Yeah. I have a division that is very specific. Cryptid. It's a cryptid just as much as everything else. We also have a lizard man that's in South Carolina, if you wanted to look that up.
Oh, wow.
Even dog figure. We have a dog figure that hangs out here as well, but it's not a dog. You got to be very cautious, but it's cryptid category.
Yeah.
That's the classifications.
Yeah. Paranormal is just the kind of umbrella, and whatever you can't explain, it kind of gets divided up. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the big corporate unhearted right there.
Okay. Anything else, Tiffany? Or you?
No, that was it. It was a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much. Miss Heather, Dr. Heather, thank you. I appreciate you. I wish both of you the best. I give you all full love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anton, and thank you for everybody who showed up live.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody in TV world. I hope everybody's having a great night, and I hope I got to everybody's questions. If need be, just message Stokes Paranormal Investigations Research. Look up SPIR Spur. You'll find me on several different areas right there.
Yep. And I'll make sure I get all of your information once I get caught up on our page with underneath. Basically, if you go to our Facebook page, guys, there is an album that says our shows, and it has the recording link to the past shows, as well as how to get a hold of those guests that are on that show.
Yeah. And if you wanted to check out the public adventures that I've been on, the Ghost Division Files is the YouTube channel right there.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll get that up.
Perfect. And then next week, we do have a fun and interesting panel discussion about aliens and UFOs. So make sure you guys join us for that one. Other than that, I am all set to go. It's been a great show. Thank you again, Ron, for joining us tonight. And I will see you next week, Tiffany.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
night, everybody. Bye.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Y'all have a good one.
With me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard